show you a little bit about everything that is exploding out here right now. We're getting into that stage of the garden where you come out here and things have just blown up and just growing like weeds. And you're also seeing a lot more of the pests and things. And so I think that's one of the things I'm going to talk about, is some of the pests and things that we see, the little things we see in the garden, and the things that we can put in the garden that is safe for the bees, but that also, you know, are supposed to help with some of these other pests that are going to eat your veggies for you. But just to show you a little bit of what's going on in the herb garden. So oregano is getting ready to bloom. Strawberries are looking fantastic. We've got several like in there, but I think we've got roly-polies or something mentioned on those. Maybe slugs. This one's not ready to pick. There's still some white on it, but I mean, you can see we've got strawberries like all kinds of in there, and there's another red one back in there. But this is the cilantro, and it is going to seed, and you see these little things that it's creating. These, when they dry, will be the coriander. So I'm leaving it alone to let it go to seed. And we've got the dill and things growing in there, but the oregano and the mint and the sage. The sage is what the bee was on a minute ago. The bees absolutely love all these purple flowers. And to be honest, I have one of these sage plants in a big pot in my front flower bed, and it has bloomed out so pretty right now. But you see how these all look like they've got snow on them? These are the turnips. And you see this like lattice work that's on here? These are the white turnips. I was growing these for the greens because they're just not wanting to put on bulbs. But you see how that's latticed? Well, the stuff that's on here is DE. This is what I'm dealing with. You see the little guy right there? That's a type of flea beetle, and it eats the leaves. Its larva eats the roots. And really I'm having the problem mainly in this corner. They've not horribly spread like we were dealing with the cabbage looper as well. I may show you one of those on a different plant. I'm not seeing those as much on the turnips, but I mean, you see, like they are doing a number on these. Like, look, they're making more, and then when you disturb them, they just fall off into the dirt, and then you can't find them. But yeah, oh look, there's more of them. So turnips aren't going to be here for very much longer. I'm going to figure out a way to store those, and those are going to come up, because the ones that are bulbing up, like I've got a couple of really big ones, like one's there, and then like a really big one there, and then there's like one or two in the back that are the purple tops that are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing. Look at these radishes. That one has fallen over. I'm gonna probably have to take it up because it's pulling its root systems up. The radishes were an experiment. I have never let radishes do this. I have always been of the standard, you pull the radishes and you eat the roots, and you don't let them go to flower, because if they do, the roots get really woody and you can't eat them. Well, the things that they produce, I've been watching YouTube videos. Here's a good example, is this. Oh, we got the flowers in the way. These pods that they're producing, these, you can pick these, and they taste like radishes. These things, just bite them off, and they have that same bite and that same zest, crispness of a radish. It's kind of crazy. Like, you wouldn't think that what was in the root would be the same flavor as like a seed pod that they're growing, but it is. And so I have been grabbing some of these bits by bits, and of course they are going to be absolutely covered. And I mean, every one of these little flowers is going to turn into one of these little bulbs. So this is going to be absolutely covered up. And that one, I need to come out and pick some, but I've been picking some and putting them in the salads. But in the meantime, you see all the flowers and things, like, they're gorgeous. The pollinators love that. We need all we can get. Now, look at these. This is the King Tut purple peas. Obviously, they are doing their thing. I mean, look how many are all in here. And then, of course, you do still have some of them that are producing the green ones. There's a couple of green ones back there. But the majority of them are purple. Right now, and these are kind of like tie-dyed ones. I'm letting them fill in. They don't have their peas are not filling in yet, but I mean, you see all those blooms. I mean, they're still going, and I am standing in the garden bed. I'm looking at eye level. these things are taller than me. Like, this is taller than me. And so they are really taking off. They're doing a lot better than I expected them to do in the heat. We've had some 90-degree days, and so I did not expect them to do well at all. Now, these are my runner, like, pole beans. These are the same ones I grew on the bean wall last year. You see my little runners. I've been threading up through here. They're already getting up. But yeah, they're going to fill up this entire wall, and they are what will be planted on this side when the peas come out. But I mean, look at that. Just look at those. It's absolutely covered up. I mean, and obviously still producing, still putting blooms on. I mean, just all the way up to there. And so it's putting on, it's very prolific. I have been very thrilled with those seeds from Baker Creek. Definitely will be saving seeds from those. I've had a neighbor ask me about some of them, so definitely will be saving them to do again. But these are rattlesnake beans. They are not putting on tendrils yet, but they should be like anytime, and should be, doing what they're supposed to be doing. The spaghetti squash has doubled in size, and they're putting out their tendrils, but they're not latching on yet. None of them are close enough for me to latch. But we are fixing to start getting our first little blooms on these. These were some of the first ones I planted. And then these are our melons coming in down here, obviously still tiny. I've got the soaker system running right now because it's been so hot lately. And these are the cucumbers. I mean, look how many leaves and things that they're putting on. They're doing so well. Now, you see and you notice that I've got the DE all in this as well. We were still dealing with some cutworms, but you notice how the tomato plants are looking super healthy. Even the ones that got cut, took down, they are coming back. I really think the DE is helping that, and helping them to grow in. None of these have fallen yet, but we have like 5 ground cherries on that now, and I'm waiting on my first couple to fall. And of course we have our first little spread of tomatoes there. One of them got damaged by something, but it's not rotted, so I'm leaving it alone. But it does have new ones there too. There are tons of blooms on this one. Blooms starting on that one. That's the tallest one. Good healthy stems, knock on wood. Tied that one up because he was trying to fall over, just getting a little weak. But the rest of these are the ones that survived, and these are the ones that survived the frost. Like, they're coming in strong. I'm kind of proud of them. Obviously started doing the tomato cages and things on them. These are the other ground cherries that are coming in, and you seeing the eggplants back there. Okay, talking about pests, I was looking to see if I've seen any of the little, like, you can see some more of this damage on these lower leaves. I don't know if I'll be able to see one on here because some of this may be slug damage on it too. But the majority of what I'm going to be looking for, I think I'm going to be seeing on the kale and the seeing it on the kohlrabi. Because believe it or not, the kohlrabi has picked up and is actually growing. Oh, I don't know. Maybe one is right here. You see how that leaf is just absolutely demolished? Oh, and I'm not even looking at the leaf. Sorry. I'm actually looking beyond the camera to try to find what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm not seeing any on those leaves, but they're here because I see the evidence of them. They're cabbage loopers, and they like brassicas, and apparently they like root vegetables like turnips and radishes as well. So I'll show you one of those in a minute. But look how lush that's turning up, my persimmon tree. Now the acorn squash is growing, and then our scalloped yellow squash is growing. The corn is coming in. I have planted other basils in this. You see like one little one coming up there. This is the one that got killed, and it's coming back. See, there's some more little basils trying to come up. I'm trying to get my basil good and going, and see, there's some in the middle there. I don't know if you can see the little spot of green, like right there. But I have planted them kind of all through the center area here because I want tons of basil, and I just can't seem to be getting them going. Ah, had a bug attacking me. Now, another pest that I was dealing with. You see the leaves on this, how they were spotted and just rough looking. These were absolutely covered in aphids, and you see how the leaves are just crinkled up. Not happy at all. These are the Thai purple yard long beans, and You can see some of the dead aphids on that one. I sprayed these with soapy water to kill the aphids. And I think, oh, that one's alive. I thought you were dead. Usually when they're black, they're dead. Probably need to spray these again then. But the ants in this bed were farming the aphids, and you can see how they're finally starting to put tendrils out. These will start climbing this. But they were farming these aphids on these plants, and so I got rid of the aphids by putting soapy water on them, and then put the DE down to help with the ant problem. It's supposed to solve that, and so hopefully we won't be dealing with those anymore. But along the lines of pests, tomatoes, things you have to watch out for, if you start noticing whole leaves, like whole sections of leaves missing, like whole limbs, like you've got a hornworm and you need to start looking for it. Right now is a little early for the hornworms, but I'm expecting them any day now. Like, I am expecting them to start coming in and attacking and eating all the things on the tomatoes. I'll have to come out here sometime with a black light, because that's one way you can really tell, especially when they're little. You're not seeing a whole lot of the damage, so you can't always tell. But if you bring a black light out, you can, they glow. Like, basically you can take a little black light, just buy one on Amazon, and a little flashlight, and shine it on the plants, and they glow. So they're really easy to pick off even when they're young, before they can do a whole lot of damage. I will probably have to do something like that in the near future. So, but looking at garden blue and garden red and the beans and things up here, obviously the bush beans are happy and healthy and doing their thing. Potatoes are doing good, and we harvested a turnip out of here. That's a turnip, and there was another turnip here, and this was, we've not put anything in these. These are seeds that were put in here from December, where we did the basement garden, and Bryce grew turnips. Like, there was turnips in there. But yeah, look at these potatoes. Like, some of these, this is mulched almost as much as I'm gonna mulch it. Like, it is completely full. There's some of these I can still mound up a little, but yeah, we've got a few that are still tiny, but they are growing like weeds. But speaking of kale and the things that we need to deal with, you see this kind of damage? This is leaf miner. This is a bug that gets in between the membranes of the leaves and lives and eats and destroys them. There's one of our little cabbage looper buddies. You see him? That little tiny caterpillar? He's gone now. But yeah, that little bitty tiny thing will devastate a plant. And him and his little 17,000 buddies will show up overnight, and they are the larva or caterpillar stage of a white moth. And that, see, there's another one, like right there. They love to lay their eggs on these, and then they hatch out, and then they start eating everything. And BT works really well on this, but I haven't sprayed these in a couple of days. I probably need to spray them again. But mix up a round of BT. You can get it on Amazon. The BT's not going to work on the cabbage, or it's not going to work on the leaf miner, because it's actually inside, and they've got to eat it. But you spray it on the leaves, and the caterpillars eat it, and it basically kills the caterpillars, because it ruptures their membranes on like their stomachs and things, so they do not survive that. But the kohlrabi is doing a thing. Like, look down there, it's actually trying to produce a bulb, and the rest of the kohlrabis have decided they're going to grow, so I'm leaving them alone. But those stupid caterpillars really love like kales, your brassicas, your kohlrabis, obviously like your turnips and things, like, whereas they're not touching these peppers. These peppers are, you know, fairly healthy, like doing their things. Matter of fact, look there. Look at that jalapeno on that one. But they will attack kale. And so, you know, between that and the flea beetles, I'm seriously thinking of taking the turnips out and, you know, just like getting rid of them for right now. Look at that jalapeno. I mean, some of our kale is surviving and doing well, but the majority of them looks like that, and they're getting latticed. And I fought this battle with these same caterpillars all fall, like all through the autumn season last year. And I just don't want to fight them right now. I don't want to be dealing with that. This is the other dragon tongue beans. They're the next round. They are coming up well. There's a few more in there that need to come up. I think I planted 6. There's like one in the middle and then one over there. But they should be coming up. But yeah, the potatoes, these need to be mounded up again. But whatever was eating this stuff, I apparently killed it with the DE. Or at least I hope I did anyway. Because they're putting on new leaves. The leaves are healthy. Stuff is growing back. I mean, the carrots and stuff back there's growing back. But I've been pulling some of the lettuces, like thinning some of them, because they are, look how green and lush and just beautiful they are. And oh my goodness, look at that cilantro. That's cilantro going to seed. Just, I love it. I love all of this. It's great. I mean, it's taking up a ton of space, and I probably could be using this bed for other things, and I will eventually take it out, but I'm leaving it for now. But yeah, look at all that green lettuce. We made salads out of the garden Monday night, and got turnips out of the garden and chopped them up and ate the greens and cooked the greens. And we are harvesting garlic. These garlics are ready to harvest when they're falling over like this and your bottom like 4 leaves are dying off. They are ready to harvest. I have just been leaving them out here because we're using them. Since we didn't plant like a huge set of them, we are pulling them as we use them because I don't want them to go to waste. And so I've been pulling bits and pieces of those, and we chopped a couple of these up and cooked in with the roasted turnips, and oh my goodness, they were so good. Just really, really tasty. But yeah, the dragon tongue beans on this side are a completely different color. I don't know if there's some kind of deficiency going on, but they're growing finally. They were stunted there for a little while, but they're finally doing what they're supposed to be doing. Oh, let me walk you down here. I have not taken you guys to the pumpkin patch. And we've got stuff going on. I've been having to go down there and weed because we didn't put the cardboard down like I said we were going to do, and I should have, because it leads to weed problems. But yeah, I'm going to take you down here and show you this stuff. I've been we had so many pumpkins come up, I was like thinning them, but they are taking over and they are absolutely massive and glorious, and the sunflowers are coming up. And so I'm really thrilled with this, and how well the things are doing down here, especially since I haven't been running water down here. Like, eventually when the greenhouse goes down here, we're going to run a pipe down here. We're going to put a spigot down here, and we'll have, be able to water easier down here. But it's all the way down here at the bottom of the yard, and so I've been occasionally walking water down here, but not like I should, not for a new area and not for something as needy as like pumpkins and watermelons and butternut squash, because that's the things that are planted down here, and these huge sunflowers. So yeah, look at this. Look at that. Look at these things. They are massive and glorious, and like you see the sunflowers like all along the edges. Those are those mammoth sunflowers that are going to be just huge. But yeah, I keep checking down in here to see if we've got any blooms yet, and just kind of glancing down in there. And so far, I mean, they're putting on, look how big this leaf is. I mean, they're putting on some massive growth, but they're not blooming yet, which leads me to think that they're going to spread a lot more. That's another random pumpkin right there. I think it just kind of got away from the others that was right there, but I mean, I don't care. I want it to fill in this whole area. These are sunflowers here in the front. That's a random sunflower there. And I think we've been having some rabbits get in down here because, rabbits are on this side of the property a lot of times. But this is like the watermelons, these are, and we've just kind of interspersed sunflowers in with all of it. And I have been weeding periodically and just coming down here and pulling stuff up, and just anytime I walk down here trying to stay on top of it, because even every little bit helps. But the blueberry bushes, that's a blueberry bush back there. There's actually 3 of them around this area. But yeah, these sunflowers, they're coming up, but I am going to get more and then I'm going to intersperse them. I'm just going to go to the dollar store or something and get more of them. But these are butternut squash down here on this end, and so obviously these are doing well. They're not putting on blooms yet that I can tell. They're just still really putting out their leaves and tendrils and things. So I'm excited about all of these. But yeah, like just all of this down here. And like I said, we've got these blueberry bushes that we've got planted, and they're alive, but they're tiny, and so we're gonna leave them alone, obviously. But yeah, those, I cannot wait for it to fill this area up and for these sunflowers to be, you know, up here and just bloomed and gorgeous and amazing. So I got a birdhouse up there, and the bees are actually back there. And along the lines of the bees, I'll talk about that as I'm walking back up here. I built my box. I ordered a box a week ago. The bees from one of my neighbor's boxes swarmed. We think they split, created another queen, still had the original queen. One of them went one way and one of them went the other way, and we think that they still had one in the box. But we ended up catching one of them, trying to get it situated. They ended up buying another hive, I think, and getting it stabilized in that. And so we're kind of letting them settle, and then we're going to do an inspection and find out for sure one way or the other. But in the meantime, I did go ahead and buy a hive. Spent most of the day Sunday putting it together, and it's sitting out on the back deck, kind of just waiting. And I've joined some bee groups and thinking of taking a class just to get more established in it. I mean, I've been helping with the bees and I really enjoy it, but I want to do more information on them and learn more about them. And then I might be ordering bees. So I will certainly, once I start doing my own bees, I will probably do videos on that. But I don't want to video like the neighbors' bees and things because they're not my bees. But I'm learning, and we will be adding that to the things that are going on here. But I'm gonna leave you with a pretty little picture of all of the little jumping jack violas. Aren't they sweet? I love them. I love them.